Sunday Night Football, guys. Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens. It's prime time.
Damn fucking straight, man. One of the best rivalries in NFL history. Probably, and it's arguably still the best rivalry in the NFL today, man. Steelers versus Ravens. Prime time. Heinz Field. Sunday Night Football.
It's going to be fucking exciting, dude. It's going to be brutal.
Damn straight, man. It's going to be one hell of a game because you know these games are always good.
No matter who the hell's playing.
Exactly, man. And that's one thing that makes this rivalry so good. That's why football fans love this rivalry so much. Because it's always close, it's always competitive, and it's always out of respect.
It is.
We hate the Ravens, but we have more respect than hate. Because they always bring a challenge. They are always, difficult to face, and we can respect that. We always love a good challenge.
We got nothing but respect for the Baltimore Ravens.
Damn straight. They're always a good challenge. We love a good challenge.
Definitely.
So this Sunday could be the very same thing. This could be the same story. So, but the Baltimore Ravens, man, they are currently 2-1. They sit at, I believe, second in the AFC North. While we're unfortunately at the bottom, but hopefully that changes this weekend. Baltimore Ravens.
Let's start with the offense. As of lately, how we all joke about Joe Flacco not being elite, but as of right now, he's not being elite right now. He's not playing at an elite stat.
Nor will he ever again.
Right.
Or even if he ever did, which could be considered, but he never did in my opinion.
Right, but as of lately, Joe Flacco, I'm not gonna lie, he's been balling. He has beasting it.
And I will say that not only him, but the offense completely has been significantly better than last year. Now, you could say that was against, in this entire Ravens team, you could say that was against bad defenses like the who they faced week 1? The Buffalo.
The Buffalo Bills. They have an inconsistent defense.
And they were facing Nathan Peterman who was starting, and they blew him out. So, and I'm not discrediting the Ravens here, nor would I ever. I'm not underestimating them. Nor would I ever.
Of course not. Of course not.
Never. Because no matter who's playing, it's always a difficult challenge, and I can respect that, and that's why I love this rivalry.
But week 1, they faced the Buffalo Bills. They blew them out. Not really much of a challenge,
and
especially with Nathan Peterman as the starting quarterback.
Week
2, I believe they faced the Cincinnati Bengals, which was the Bengals' home opener.
Right, and they lost. I can't remember the score, but I know that they allowed 4 first half touchdowns to Andy Dalton, and I will say that I feel like that kind of exposed their defense a little bit. Now we'll get into their defense in a little while, or in a little bit, but I feel like it did because you look at week 1 against the Bills, Nathan Peterman, he's obviously not good. Week 2, they faced a pretty, I would say, a high-powered offense in the Bengals because they have, they got some great talent. Joe Mixon, A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, John Ross, Tyler Eifert, Andy Dalton. When he has weapons around him, he looks good. So I will say that.
Yeah.
And week 3 against the Broncos, they pretty much faced a bruised Broncos team
and a very inconsistent quarterback in Case Keenum.
Exactly. So. And like we said, we're not discrediting them. We're not underestimating them, nor will we ever. But
you got to think, they didn't really have too much of a challenge. With the Steelers, it's always a challenge.
Exactly. So, and I'm not saying that because we're going to start with the Ravens' offense against our defense.
Right. Like I said, Joe Flacco, he's been balling as of late. He's been playing pretty decent.
Right.
The receivers are no joke at all. Michael Crabtree, what he's been doing.
Right.
Now
he's on the decline, but he's still a pretty effective receiver.
Right. Same with John Brown. I always thought that John Brown was never a reliable or good receiver for Arizona, but as of late, he's actually been producing more than Crabtree.
Yeah, he has, man. He's been balling. He's been stepping up big time.
Exactly.
And they got Willie Snead in the slot, who I'm not honestly worried about, but with Mike Hilton potentially being out, because I don't know if he's playing, but let's say he is out, that does worry me a little bit because losing Hilton could hurt us because, in my honest opinion, outside of Joe Hayden, he is our best defensive back.
Perhaps, yeah.
On our secondary. So, whether he plays or not, that could affect us because I like Sutton in the slot. I think he's much more better in the slot. I don't trust Sensabaugh whatsoever. So,
at all.
Us losing Hilton might affect us. So, that's one thing to watch out for, definitely. But hopefully he does play, so that helps our secondary.
And they're pretty stacked at the tight end position. Hayden Hurst, their first-round pick, even though I'm not big on him whatsoever. I'm more big on their other rookie tight end, Mark Andrews.
Yes, and he has been balling as well, man. He's been one of the more reliable receivers. And that's really one guy I'm really worried about in this offense.
Right, and perhaps their best player on offense is their running back, Alex Collins. He's very versatile. He's very elusive. He's hard to take down. Especially the last game. The last time we faced the Ravens, he completely demolished us.
Right. He and I know I may be reaching here. He reminds me of a much more slim, much less effective Marshawn Lynch, honestly. And that's just not based on his look. Just look how he runs the ball.
Right.
But the issue with that with that is that the Ravens haven't really established a rushing game, and Alex Collins hasn't really been the player that
he was last year.
Yeah, he hasn't lived up to the hype so far.
Yeah.
Now against our rushing defense, which has been pretty decent so far, that could be a different story. I hope not, but it's very possible because, like you said, they had a good. He had a good performance last year in our last Sunday night game,
right,
where we won 39-38. But I feel like our rushing defense is much better this year, honestly.
Especially since, we don't have Sean Spence this time. We got John Bostic right here.
Yeah, who has been balling as of late. And we have a more healthy Cam Hayward. We have a more healthy Stephon Tuitt, more healthy Javon Hargrave, more healthy T.J. Watt.
We're even seeing Dan McCullers in there as well.
Yeah.
He's a great run stuffer.
Of course, and even upgraded Bud Dupree as well. And, of course, we all know Vince Williams. So
right, so I think our rush defense, can be able to hold themselves up.
Definitely, and I hope so.
But the pass defense, they got to do their job. I know Joe Hayden's going to do his job because I have full confidence in Joe Hayden. But when it comes to Artie Burns or Cody Sandsball on the other side of the ball, I mean, like I said in the Bucks recap video, it's like the meme Spider-Man. It's like they're little looking at each other.
Yeah,
it's
pretty
really
much.
no different.
Yeah,
they always have blown coverages. They can't do their fucking job correctly, and it's ridiculous. Mainly on Artie Burns' freaking case.
Exactly, because
he was a first-round pick, and this is his year to prove why he's worth the first-round pick, and he could prove himself. He could be a lockdown corner, and he's not doing that.
Exactly.
He's being the opposite of that.
Exactly, because you said that his first 2 seasons were basically to get his feet wet, but in his third year, with some with some years under his belt and with some more development, you think that he would, be a reliable corner.
Exactly.
He
it's weird because in training camp he's always been doing that.
I know, and
but when it comes
it's not transitioning onto the field.
Exactly, and this has been 2 straight years now.
Yeah,
and it's sad.
I mean, I'm not really worried about their passing offense, although it has been significantly better. And there's just nothing really that really speaks out to me about the Ravens offense. I mean, it is better than last year, but there's just nothing that really speaks out to me. I mean, the only thing that I can say that speaks out to me, and is really the only thing I'm worried about this offense, is their red zone.
Yeah,
the red zone offense.
Yeah, the Ravens' red zone offense is elite status right now. They have yet to, what's the best way I can say, not score a touchdown?
Yeah, they have yet to fail a red zone trip because they have had 12 trips and have scored all trips for touchdowns
so far this season. So that's the only thing that really concerns me. I mean, our red zone defense is been doing their job in a way, somewhat, but
can you still trust this defense?
Exactly.
I mean, yes, they had a much upgraded and they showed some progression last week against the Bucks, but. Still, can you trust his defense a little bit? We still got to see more to actually have faith. And now against the Ravens offense, we can. But, this is Steelers-Ravens rivalry. It's always tough.
Exactly.
So they always bring it. So, but honestly, I feel like the only way we can prevent the Ravens from making the red zone and making red zone trips is obviously our pass rush. And the entire defense has to show up, but I think it's mostly more on the pass rush. They have to get to Flacco. They have to force mistakes. They have to limit trips. They have to... basically force 3 and outs.
They basically have to make sure that they stay off the field.
Of course. Exactly. They have to force 3 and outs, and they have to limit field goals. Or they have to force them 2 field goals at least.
Right.
That's obviously a lot easier said than done, but it's possible with our pass rush, who has been pretty good so far.
With guys like Bud Dupree, Vince Williams, John Bostic, T.J. Watt, Stephon Tuitt, Cameron Hayward, Javon Hargrave. We got a great front 7. We got even corners and safeties that can blitz. So we have to establish a pass rush in this game.
Yes, we do, and I feel like that's the only way to prevent the Ravens from making red zone trips. Because although the Ravens offense can be considered pretty questionable, they are pretty effective in the red zone.
They are.
And we can't allow them to make the red zone, or at least don't allow them to make it often. We have to limit those trips.
Seriously.
And the way to do that is pass rush. We have to get to them.
Seriously. The only thing that concerns me in this game really is the Steelers' defense. They have to do their job.
Exactly. They have to show up. This is a big game for them to show up.
Seriously.
And I feel like it's mostly dependent on the pass rush.
Yeah.
They have to force mistakes. They have to limit drives. They have to force 3 and outs and at least limit them to field goals. Like I said, a lot easier said than done, but it's possible. So I feel like that's the only way to win this game defensively is pass rush. And that's how you stop any offense is pass rush. And we had the front 7 to do it.
Seriously.
So hopefully.
And the Ravens defense, I mean, they're no joke. I mean, they're a little inconsistent sometimes, like our defense, but they're more. As of right now, they're the better defense. And
of course,
again, it's no joke that pass rush with Michael Pierce, Brandon Williams, Terrell Suggs, Matthew Judon, C.J. Mosley. Even though he's more of a cover guy, he can blitz as well.
Of course, and I heard he's playing, so that could definitely be a big difference maker because he really is.
Right.
He is a big difference maker and a game changer in this league. But about their defense, they have a very good defense. I will say that. But I do feel like it is very overrated and inconsistent. And I feel like that was proven against the Bengals in Week 2.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that the Bengals always have good performances against the Ravens, but still. I mean, you look at Week 1 when they had Nathan Peterman starting, of course they were going to blow them out. Then against Week 2, against the high-powered offense in the Bengals, they got blown out, and they allowed four first-half touchdowns to the Bengals and A.J. Green, or Andy Dalton. So I feel like that really exposed them and showed that they are overrated. And I feel like that we have to take advantage of that as well, since
I definitely think so.
Since we are a more, in my opinion, more high-powered offense and more dominant, we have just more talent.
And you got to think. I don't mean to interrupt you, but you got to think on how the offense has played in the past 2 times we played at Heinz Field. If you want to include the Jaguars game back in the divisional game,
right,
last year, our offense has performed outstanding. They performed phenomenal the last 2 times we played at Heinz Field.
Exactly, they performed out of the mind, and I hope it continues in prime time against the division rival. They have to show up.
Seriously, and I do want to go back to the defense just real quick. The same thing can be said about their defense. Last 2 times they've played
exactly, and that's what kind of worries me. And against the division rival, they can take advantage of that, and that's why defense has to show up. And we have to establish a pass rush early and be consistent.
Yeah,
and we can't get too conservative as well.
Yeah, but back to the Steelers' offense. Ben is Ben. He plays tremendous at Heinz Field usually.
Right.
James Conner. I definitely think we have to establish a running game here.
Totally, and that's something that we have kind of backtracked away the last 2 games. I don't know why. I mean, I can understand because we have all the faith in Wilton Ben, definitely, but we have to establish a rushing game to keep him guessing, to balance the offense, and tire out the defense.
Yeah, we got to take some pressure off Ben, and that's what Bell did, but I think Connor can do just about the same.
Of course he can, because I remember on Twitter, I was looking on the Twitter timeline this morning, and I saw something very intriguing and interesting, that there's only 3 players in the NFL currently that have 200 rushing yards, 100 receiving yards, and 3 total touchdowns. That is Todd Gurley, Adrian Peterson, and James Conner. That's some rich that's a rich club, and that's some rich company right there.
That is.
So I think we have to, spread the ball a little more and get Conner more involved, because he is a dynamic player.
I definitely think
when
so.
given the opportunity, when given more reps, he can make the most out of it.
And last week we took Le'Veon Bell off the official running back depth chart, so we have to make a statement on how we can still be effective in the running game with James Conner.
Of course, and with that statement alone, I feel like that we kind of have, and we have to continue that with Conner. And against a pretty decent rushing defense in the Ravens, I feel like we have to establish a rushing game, keep them guessing. And I feel like the way to win this game against that defense, and against any defense pretty much, and this is how we were able to tire them out last year with Le'Veon Bell, is that we establish a rushing game, tire them out, and then attack them through the air.
Yes.
And with Ben, with how he's been balling lately, and with how Juju has been balling, and AB, he'll more likely go up against Brandon Carr, who
sucks on the outside.
Yeah, and AB burned him last year, so I don't have any issue with that. And the tight end stepping up and James Conner getting more involved. I feel like we just have to spread the ball a little more, but mostly establish a rushing game, because that's how we tire out that defense.
Yes.
They have a very good defense. I do feel like it's overrated and inconsistent, but still, against the Steelers, they're definitely going to bring it, and we have to tire them out with the rushing game.
Yeah.
And then attack them through the air, because we all know we have a very high-powered offense, and we can do that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the game plan going in offensively.
Seriously.
So I think that's what we have to do, and I'm excited to see what we do. I'm excited to see what Conner can do, because we just have to use him more, and he can definitely make the most out of his reps.
Absolutely.
So
another thing for the offense, they cannot do any turnovers,
yes.
especially from the passing game. I know Ben usually. This is the only thing I really hate about Ben. He holds on to the ball too long. Yeah. He can't be doing that.
And I can understand him continuing to play and trying to make something out of it, but don't make, because Ben always forces shit.
Yeah.
It's been one of his
weakening points.
Yeah, it's been one of his weakening points and negatives throughout his entire career, is that he forces shit.
Yes, going up against a Ravens pass defense with guys like Eric Weddle and Tony Jefferson. I'll even say Brandon Carr. I mean, he's been doing better with the Ravens than he ever did with any other team he was with.
With Cowboys, but they also got Marlon Humphrey and Tavon Young, who are 2 pretty young and underrated, and honestly, in my opinion, uprising corners in this league. So
seriously,
we definitely have a challenge, but I think that's why we got to establish a rushing game first.
Yes.
And then attack them there, tire them out, keep them guessing, and then just hit them where it hurts.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the game plan offensively. Defensively, like we said, just establish a pass rush, keep it going. And one issue that we have to do is or one issue that we have to step away from is the penalties, and we have to limit them, and the turnovers, like you said.
Seriously, we have to contain the penalties, because as of right now, we lead the league in penalties with 36.
Yeah,
that's 12 in each game.
Exactly, and penalties really kill us, and they almost killed us the last 3 games. So we have to limit them, and a team like the Ravens is definitely going to take advantage of that. We can't allow that. We have to limit the penalties. We have to limit the turnovers, and that's pretty much it, honestly. I think that's what we got to do, and that's what we can do. But really, that's the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, limit the penalties and limit the turnovers, honestly. And that's on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, it is.
So, that's pretty much it. Another thing I want to address real quick is that, because I do feel like this game will be close, and these games are always close, is Boswell.
Yes.
Boswell.
I mean, I still got faith in you. I really do. But at this point, I'm a little scared. I mean, I'm always going to be scared, when it comes to Boswell kicking a field goal. I was that last year. But as of right now, he's no longer to what he was last year.
Of course. And I don't know what his issue is. I do have faith in Boswell to get his head straight and get his game straight, because he's been so clutch for us before. And it's happened many times against the Ravens. He's been so clutch for us. So I have faith and hope that he will get his head straight. And this is the game he has to do it, because this game more likely will be close and could come down to a field goal.
Yeah.
So Boswell has to step up here, because against the Ravens, every point matters, every score matters, and like you said, it's more likely going to be close and more likely to come down to a field goal. So he has to step up.
So
here.
Boswell, you got to make not only just field goals but extra points, because they are very crucial.
Exactly, and so I think that's pretty much it, guys. Give us your thoughts in the comments below. Steelers versus Ravens, baby.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be tough.
It's going to be
like it always is.
Damn straight. It's going to be one hell of a game. It always is. Sunday Night Football, primetime in Heinz Field.
One of the most exciting days for football, Sunday night. And with the Steelers and Ravens, you can damn well bet it's going to be tough. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be exciting.
Exactly. And you can't ask for a much better game for that night.
Seriously.
So should be fun. Should be exciting. Here we go, guys, man. Let's get this dub. Steelers versus Ravens rivalry. I'm excited. I'm pumped. Let's go, man. Let's get this dub. Let's go, man.
Well, here we go, Steelers. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you later.
Peace!